The press tender was an ancient two-decker. She was pierced for 52 guns, had been a third rate of the line when launched more than 40 years previously to serve in the War of Jenkins' Ear. Now, carrying no broadside and barely fit to waggle along the south coast on calm days, she served the impressed service, acting as a receiving ship in whichever port was fortunate to receive their attentions, before returning slowly to Portsmouth with her intake. Some of the officers aboard were dedicated to the impressed service. They were, without exception, elderly or incompetent and generally drunk. The hands were much the same, generally old men who had served well and had been transferred to the service by way of being pensioned off from seafaring. Between them, officers and men did very little. They were assisted by lieutenants and detachments sent from those ships in most urgent need of men, and who did almost all of the work. Lieutenant Woodmore had brought his party from Blue Boar in a longboat, proposed now to return to the sloop with a portion of the new men, provided the post captain in command would agree. The captain was elderly and poor and one-armed, had been given command of the tender as a reward for long virtue in the Navy, combined with no prize money. He was habitually sober, almost unique in his place. "Beg pardon, sir. Blue Boar is under sailing orders. Thursday next, morning high tide. I know not where, being second lieutenant. I am under strictest orders to return no later than dusk on Wednesday, sir, with no fewer than 15 men, Blue Boar being sadly under complement. With respect, sir, in 3 days, my people have brought in 23 bodies to serve." That was more than most had achieved, showed a willingness that was absent from the bulk of officers sent to aid the service. The majority of those who had come aboard the tender were better at emptying bottles than discovering men, aid to the impressed service being unpopular duty and normally given to the least of officers. Woodmore thought that if he asked for 15 men, he had a good chance of getting 10. "Today is Monday, Woodmore. You can be busy tomorrow and take your catch back next morning. Make your numbers up to 30 and you may take your 15 with you. To be generous, young man, I shall permit you to select your own, though no more than 6 of them volunteers.